All right, we just wrapped up a fantastic divisional weekend in the NFL. Just 4 teams remaining, 2 in each conference. I'm going to go through, give you a breakdown from my takeaways from this weekend's playoff action and tease a little bit moving forward to the conference championship games. Let's hop on into it. Okay, the weekend kicked off in Kansas City on Saturday, where the 10-7 wildcard winner Houston Texans took on the 15-2 Kansas City Chiefs, the number 1 overall seed in the AFC, coming off that bye. And this was kind of an ugly, grindy game. I mean, the big headlines from this are a couple of questionable roughing the passer penalties called in favor of the Chiefs, but I don't think that really decided the game. The first one was bang bang, looked a lot worse live, so I got it. Second was atrocious. You can't really have it. But with that being said, I mean, Houston had one of the worst special team performances by a team this year. I mean, they were just complete dog shit. A missed field goal, a blocked field goal. They give up a 60-plus yard kick return and get a 15-yard unsportsmanlike for spiking their helmet. We got players shoving coaches. The offensive line was really bad in this game. CJ Stroud held onto the ball way too long. 8 sacks for 58 yards. I thought he was fine. 19 of 28, 245, no touchdowns, no picks. Joe Mixon, solid day. 88 yards on the ground, almost 5 per. So they were running the ball pretty well with a tutty. And CJ really went back to his roots, used his legs, 6 for 42. That's what we've seen CJ do in big games. Nico Collins, 5 for 81. Dalton Schultz, a nice 4 for 63. 452 for Xavier Hutchinson. We know this wide receiver core is super banged up. But overall, it just felt like Houston did not play well enough to win this game. Mahomes was whatever, 16 to 25 and a touchdown, an unbelievable touchdown to Kelsey. Only a throw that very few guys are going to make. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar, it was just lights out. Kareem Hunt, no real run game again, 8 for 44, did have the short touchdown. 5.5 per is good, nothing from Pacheco. Mahomes, 7 for 14, did have a couple of kneel downs at the end of that game. But really just bad. Matt Araiza gets the dock for minus 18 on the punt safety he took at the end of this game. Kelsey, your leading receiver, 7 for 117 and a touchdown. Patented Kelsey playoff game. He looked fantastic. Back into that shape right there. He was great all around from him. But, Xavier Worthy, 5 for 45. Had a couple of big drops by Hollywood Brown. He goes with a goose egg after 2 targets. Only 1 target for Hopkins. Didn't really see the receivers getting much involved. It was kind of Kelsey, Xavier Worthy, a little bit of Noah Gray, some running. Ugly game here. Chiefs defense led the way. Fortuitous on the penalties. They kicked their field goals. They were bad in the red zone again. But special teams was the difference in this one, and Mahomes just being slightly better in those critical situations than a young CJ Stroud. So the Chiefs will host the AFC Championship game for the 6th time in 7 seasons. Man, Mahomes never missing an AFC title game so far. All right, and we wrapped it up Saturday night with the upset of the weekend, maybe the upset of the season. The 12-5 Washington Commanders go in to the 15-2 Detroit Lions, your number 1 overall seed in the NFC, and slay the giant. Jane Daniels walked into the Lions' den and walked away with the Commanders' first trip to the NFC Championship game since 1992. 33 years, folks. A lot of y'all have never seen a Washington football team in a NFC Championship game. Jane Daniels, phenomenal. 22 of 31, 299, 2 tutties. Added another 51 on the ground. Critical 3rd down, 4th down pickups for them. And this was the difference. They out-Lions the Lions in this game. Brian Robinson Jr., 15 for 77, 2 tutties, solid. Eckler, 6 for 47, had a couple of nice receptions, 4 for 41. De'Ami Brown, 2 great playoff games so far, 6 for 98, Scary Terry doing his thing, 87 and a tutty, a 58-yard one, a big, nice long one there. 5 turnovers for the Lions, 3 picks by Goff, did throw for 313 and a touchdown, had a strip sack on him as well, and then a terrible, horrendous interception by Jameson Williams in the 4th quarter, down 10 with 12 minutes left. Jahmyr Gibbs, 14, 105, 2 tutties. Jameson Williams, 1 carry, 61 yards and a touchdown. That kind of got the Lions back into the flow of things here, even with the help of a no face mask call. Amon-Ra, 8 for 137. Sam Laporta had an incredible touchdown catch. They were just worked, man. The Commanders just played a lot better game. Jared Goff, this is the worry. Not an elite quarterback in a big playoff game. Got overwhelmed, was under duress, made some bad decisions, just was honestly terrible. Weren't sure if we're going to see him again. Throws a pick six, gets blown up on the play. Teddy Bridgewater comes in. He wasn't that dry for that JMO touchdown, so good for Teddy and them. But man, just an excellent all-around performance by Washington. They were clearly locked and loaded and ready to go. And I don't know, man. There's something about Jaden Daniels. He's calm, cool, and collected when these situations matter. I mean, like I said, they out-Lions the Lions. They went for like every fourth down against this team, and they converted, man. They're over almost 82% conversion on fourth down for the season. That's the best in NFL history, I believe. So stellar performance by the Commanders. I don't think anybody had this one on the menu. So Washington gets the dub, heading back to the NFC Championship game for the first time in forever. And they're going to be heading to a division rival in Philadelphia. Okay, and like I said, the Eagles will be hosting that NFC Championship game as they are the 2 seed, taking down the 4-seeded LA Rams 28-22. Really weird, interesting game. Lots of snow. The weather played a big factor in this game. Jalen Hurts, only 128, no touchdowns, no picks. Did have 7 for 70 on the ground, but he got banged up, hurt his knee. Wasn't quite the same. Took a bad safety in this game. Really, teams are struggling. Philly looked like they were going to run away with this thing. Rams responded. They get a field goal. It's looking good. The Eagles take a sack at the end of the half, knocks out a field goal range. 5-3, we're playing baseball in the third quarter here. Couple of bad spots for the Rams. They fumble late in the red zone, so they have to settle for a field goal. They then fumble again with Kyren Williams. They don't recover it. Saquon Barkley busts what looked like was going to be a walk-off. I shouldn't say a walk-off. Put the game away with like 6 minutes left. 26 for 205, 2 tutties for Saquon. Just an all-time performance. 200-plus scrimmage yards in both games against the Rams this season. He's the first player in NFL history to do that to one team in a single season. Stafford was fine. 44 times, don't love. 26 of 44, 324. 2 tutties, no picks. Did have a very costly fumble in, I think it was late in the third quarter. Might have been early fourth quarter when Stafford fumbled there. Just killer. Kyren 19 for 106, but did have that fumble. Puka Nacua 97, 6 catches, had a monster catch on the final drive. It looked like this game was over. The Rams get a touchdown. They get a stop. They get the ball back. They get a huge completion to Puka. And they have a shot, 3rd and 2 inside the 20. They take a sack. They don't block Jalen Carter. He forced the fumble on Kyren Williams. Monster day from him. He was having a fun time. And then Stafford bad on fourth down. I really thought the Rams were going to come in and sneak out and steal this one at the end of this game. It would have been very peak Eagles. Again, no real throwing. It was all rushing. The Rams defense, though. What are we looking at from the sack totals? What they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sacks? Oh, tackles for loss. Excuse me. God, I'm going on a rant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks after putting up 9 last week against the Minnesota Vikings. So their Rams D-line were on a tear. I know Jared Verse is hated enemy number 1 after what he said about Eagles fans, but he was spectacular. But the Eagles defense holds serve, gets the critical stop, and walks away a winner. And now we'll be hosting the rival Commanders next Sunday for a trip to the Super Bowl. Okay, in the most anticipated game of the weekend, we had the 12-5 Baltimore Ravens heading to the 13-4 Buffalo Bills. And this was a pretty good game. Maybe didn't necessarily live up to the hype. Another Elements game. It was cold. It was snowy. And you know what? Lamar kind of played okay. I don't know if Lamar's going to shake the Lamar choked in the playoffs. Did go on a nice long drive to what would have set up the tie, scored a touchdown. They had to get the 2-point conversion to tie. They miss it, run a sprint out to Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews drops it. Mark Andrews also had a critical fumble on the drive before when the Ravens kind of got things going in the second half. Really critical mistakes from Mark Andrews, and it's something you hate to see. He's been an all-pro player for this Ravens team. But Lamar will tell you, he wasn't good enough. Had a really bad interception early in the game and a terrible fumble, just trying to do too much. Very uncharacteristic like Lamar. He didn't have 2 turnovers in any game this season, and that's kind of the knock. Derrick Henry, 16 for 84, did have a touchdown there. They were kind of grinding this out. Justice Hill, 6 for 50. Lamar, only 6 for 39, didn't really run the ball, had one on the final drive there, so not much from Lamar. I thought we were going to see more scrambling from him and all. I kind of hate the play call on the 2-point conversion. I mean, he was wide open, would have converted, but kind of would have liked just going down with Derrick Henry, man. I feel better going down with Henry than going down with anybody out. Lamar on a sprint out or Henry on a pounder run. That's it. Josh Allen was okay, whatever. 127, 16 for 22, no tutties, no picks. Did have 2 on the ground, 10 for 20 for him. James Cook, solid, 17 for 67. Ty Johnson, 5 for 31, and Ray Davis, 4 for 29. Bills ran the ball really well against a Ravens defense that, I don't know, people weren't sure if they're going to be able to run the football. They did let Josh air it out. Really, it felt like the Bills were in control of this game going into halftime. Everything was tough for the Ravens, felt a little bit easier. It was 21-10. But this third quarter was a disaster. The play calling was weird. They had 2 drives, 1 first down, 1 rushing yard in that sense. So they got a little too cute, let the Ravens back in. They did finish it. Got stopped right at the 1 yard line. Didn't have a chance to take a touchdown and put the game away. So they had to put it on their defense. Tough for them. Khalil Shakir, your leading receiver, 6 for 67. No other receiver did anything. 2 for 9, your most receptions by another receiver. James Cook, your second leading receiver, 3 for 15. So it was pretty much all Shakir all day. Mac Hollins did catch a nice one there. Isaiah Likely led the way, had the touchdown on the final drive for Baltimore. Bateman had a touchdown. He ended up getting hurt. He wasn't out there. Mark Andrews, obviously they wish he could have done more, but Buffalo wins this one. I think, obviously the MVP's already decided, but I think you give it to Josh Allen. Kind of a weird game for Lamar. The narratives are going to be what the narratives are, but this is setting up another rematch for the 4th time. We're going to have Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen, and for the 2nd time in the AFC Championship with a trip to New Orleans and the Super Bowl. But that's going to do it for us today. Let me know what your guys' takeaway were from this weekend's game. What were your thoughts? How pissed were you with the officiating? Do you like these matchups? What is your Super Bowl pick? What 2 teams are we going to see heading to New Orleans in just a couple of weeks? So let me know. Again, if you haven't already, drop a quick like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. We got daily sports content for you guys. If you want to support the channel more, sign up for a channel membership. You get all sorts of access to cool and exclusive perks. Helps support me, allows me to keep making this great content for you guys every single day. If you're watching this on Monday, we'll be live tonight for the national championship game between Ohio State and Notre Dame. And if you're watching after, I will be live Wednesday night going through breaking down the conference championship games, giving you my picks for the Super Bowl. So that's going to do it for us. Again, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.